go. Yo! What's up, everybody? We are in between the screens here on the IBT Media channel with Brian, Alyssa, and Steve, checking out another movie draft. And of course, it's snake style. It's epic movies, not your grandma's movies, not the movies you show the kids that come over that you don't really care about. These are epic movies. We're going big. We're not going home. Alyssa, how are we doing today?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous. I am nervous for this draft. Like when you put epic in front of it, it just makes it intimidating by nature. So I don't know how it's gonna go tonight, but I'm here. And I've got some great movies on the list. Whether we think they're epic or not, I think they make the cut.
Steve, what about you? How are you feeling about this draft tonight?
I'm feeling great. I was really excited to give you guys almost zero direction of what an epic movie was. I think the only real useful thing I said it had to be over 2 hours long. So I'm real excited to see how this goes. Yeah.
You know,
I'm this way. Undefined. Like, what are we gonna get? It's gonna be a mixed bag tonight.
You know, I'm down for a draft that's left open to interpretations. We're famous for it. We do tons of them. But at the same time, I do need some parameters, especially on movies that, shall I say, I'm weaker than I should be. Is a terminology of an epic movie is, that's probably one of the weaker ones. Like when I did a lot of my research, these 20th century epics, looking at lists of 30, 40 movies, I've seen 2, seen 3. Now the modern day epic, I'm going to lead into my strategy a little bit. Those movies, sure, I've seen those. But some of these movies, the ones that everybody talks about, the ones that you talk about in your film class, the filmography people, the cinephiles. I'm gonna embarrass the hell out of myself tonight.
It's so. Again, I think it's very open for interpretation. It's just these big, sprawling, really ambitious movies. You know what I mean? Something that if it doesn't work, it kind of crashes and burns.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds kind of like a. Oh my gosh, I just lost the director's name. Transformer. Oh my god.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. Sounds like a Michael Bay movie in the action, you know?
Sort of, except for the fact that Michael Bay doesn't have the prestige to it. You know what I mean? There's this when you think of an epic, it's big and shiny and it's and Oscars love to give awards to it.
And you think big names too, whether it be the actors, the directors, the writers, you associate this with I'm going to see this movie based on just who I know's in it, who's involved. I haven't even seen the trailer. I'm going to that bad boy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. One that's coming out that we can't draft, The Odyssey is an epic. Thing's 3 hours and 15 minutes long.
You really didn't define rules.
I
the movie being watched and officially out to the public was not a rule.
I did not say
I got
that.
tickets for Friday, so
I grabbed Thursday night, if you can believe it. I got Thursday night IMAX tickets.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, my bedtime rolls around usually before those movies start on those late night premieres. So yeah, we'll be catching it early Friday morning.
I'll be all by myself. No one wanted to go.
Well, stay tuned, folks, because we will be covering The Odyssey, of course. Should be on our other channel there with Popcorn and Rupee, of course, with the host over here. The hostess with the mostest, taking care of biz over there. Make sure you're checking out all of the great content we have over there, as well as the interviews that come with it. But we have to draft. We've got to jump in. Let's hop on over to our movie draft board. As we go, we spun the wheel ahead of time. Alyssa, you get first dibs at calling your draft spot. Are you taking that 1 spot, that 2 spot, or that 3 spot?
Usually I like to be in the end, but I'm gonna stick in the number 1 spot tonight because I know what my number 1 movie is.
Alrighty, I did draw the last choice, which means I don't get a choice. Not me, not on this pod here. Steve, you do though. Do you want that slot B or slot C?
Give me the 3. Give me the 3 spot.
You want the damn turn. You want the
turn.
I like the turn. It's less for me to overthink.
Yeah, everyone likes the turn.
Best. Yeah.
Whether it be 3 people drafting or 12 people drafting, I like the damn turn, you know? You can lean into the overdraft, taking up a spot over ADP, if you will.
Yeah.
If we can bring some of those fantasy terms over here.
Sure.
I guess, want to hold some of this close to the vest. We don't want to be giving up these picks because obviously we're building our own teams. But does anybody have a strategy that they want to share? Steve, you leaning into like, all right, there's a couple movies I have to get, or is your list just big enough where you're kind of cruising?
Mine is really big, really kind of expansive, and it's going to be off of vibes. Like I don't know where I'm going to go. Yeah, I have my first 2 picks, I think, ready to rock and roll for sure.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tilt my ass off. So I'm kind of glad. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. This is bad. Alyssa, do you have a mindset here going into this first pick? Do you feel pretty safe making this first one, and then you kind of get to wait, fill out the board for 4 picks, or are you sharing that tilting disease that I have?
I'm not going to be on the Tilt World tonight. I'm sticking with Steve. I'm going off vibes. Right? No pressure, right? No one is analyzing this list. It can be objective, it can be subjective, but I love having the first pick tonight because I don't have to worry about someone stealing my movie.
It's true.
So that is nice. And Steve, I don't know if our lists are going to overlap. So you might be safe and protected tonight.
I think it really depends on what kind of movies you love. Our last draft that I was a part of, I had no worries because I was a big horror movie fan, and that left a lot for me to pick at. So I was really excited about that. I don't think it's going to work quite as well here tonight.
That was an interesting draft. Seth started off sniping some picks from me, but as we got into the deeper rounds, I don't know what he was picking. It was great.
Seth's fell apart. Seth, I've said openly, has some of the worst movie taste I've ever seen in my life. Like it's really so bad.
It leaves more great picks for me when it comes to draft. So I do love that. Folks, if you haven't checked that out, go check out our summertime draft. You're looking for those vibes, looking for those movies that make you feel summertime. That's the draft to do it. But that's not what we're doing here. We're doing epic drafts. Alyssa, you are on the board. You're starting off first. We have 5 rounds, 15 movies in total. What is the 101? What is the movies you have to snag before Steve and I go 4 picks?
Oh my gosh, when you set it up like that, like you're making me sweat. No.
Somebody else needs to tilt. I'm tired of just me.
Ooh, okay. This movie is, I would say, like most people would agree with it being a first pick, but I'm going to give a little bit of my personal connection to it. I am from California, I live in Virginia now, so my travels when I go back there are very, very long, 6-hour plane flights. So I have to pick some long movies. This was one that made the list. And Brian and I are on a flight. I'm watching it by myself. I finish it. It's almost 3 hours. My jaw is on the ground in the alleyway, and I need to talk to someone about this movie. I got no one to talk to.
Greatest Showman is not an epic, Alyssa.
2.5 hours left on this flight. That was a different flight. Sir. It's not that one.
And you know what? I would disagree that it is an epic movie. It just doesn't qualify because it's an hour and a half long.
Yeah. He still hasn't seen it. So he can't talk. You're missing out. This movie, I think it hits the category of epic as far as the amount of time that it covers. It gives the dual look of someone's just personal life and how important they are as an individual in their loved ones' lives, and then also making the sacrifice for what about the rest of civilization, our existence on Earth. I think that this is one of the best movies out there ever, and I'm going to pick Interstellar.
Brian knew what you were talking about immediately.
Yep, I sure did. Because man, if I did not hear the end of it after that flight, we have to talk about this movie. I was like, Alyssa, I haven't seen it yet. So
you haven't seen Interstellar yet?
At the time that she watched it, I had not.
Shame.
Yeah, that
truly.
Yeah, you've seen it since though.
I will see it. I'm watching it tonight. We're doing a Christopher Nolan draft next week, and on the other channel, check out Too Much Movie Night here, under the branch of all of this fun here we have. But I'm having to watch Interstellar tonight. It's my only hole in my only Nolan hole I have. Space is weird. I'm weird with space.
I'm like that with war movies. I get it.
Buckle up because this one's gonna rock your damn socks off. Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty great. Mm-hmm. I will say that like its big claim to fame is that NASA scientists have said that the black hole rendering in that movie is so accurate that it is as like dead on as it could be. Like that is essentially what a black hole looks like.
I actually read like from this movie there were like different papers and studies and like on the collegiate level that came out due to when you add the personal story. Sorry, Brian, you should have seen this movie already. It's been out for a decade. So the fact that there's like the 1 hour is equivalent to 7 years, right? And just that duality of he's a father, right? He has children that he is having to choose. Do I be a part of their life or do I not? I think it makes science a little bit, I guess it makes it more personal. Like it gives more emotion to it versus it just being like a space movie.
Yeah. Nope, I agree. I totally agree. I thought it was really powerful. Like, obviously, it's a tearjerker as well. Yeah, Matt Damon in a shockingly awesome scumbag.
Small but awesome.
Turn. Yeah. Big fan of it all. Just great.
Brian, cool. So no one's hating. No one's hating on my 101.
I like it. I have no qualms.
All right.
No, I think it definitely qualified. I think it should be a movie that can be taken.
You don't get a say, sir.
All right.
What you picking?
I've got several categories, right? I think I've got 6-7 categories in front of me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've got tiers within the categories, but I don't have tiers amongst the categories. And that's what's killing me right now. I really don't have a 101 that I want to grab. I'm trying to play this out like, all right, what will be taken here by my fellow hosts, but I really don't know. So let me just throw this one out there. I think it's one of the best movies of it. I'm not 100% sure if I fully believe it's an epic.
Here comes the tilting.
Let's go Spielberg.
Okay.
Let's talk dinosaurs. Let's talk Jurassic Park.
I'd call it an epic. I'd call that an epic. That was so big. That was such a massive undertaking that, yeah, I'll give you Jurassic Park. I like that.
There's aspects of it that doesn't quite feel epic. Maybe it's the fact that most of the movie just takes place on the island, and maybe I want more ground to be covered if that's what it is. But like the larger than life, you get that size with the actual giraffe. The reveal you get just of the Brontosaurus in the big field, like so much of it feels epic. But sometimes I almost believe that there needs to be like a battle scene or something of that nature to feel epic. And I didn't know if I was missing that, if that took it away. But regardless, this movie is, like you said, larger than life. This was a great movie.
Yeah. I think with Spielberg, right, there's that shot that he's so known for is that big pullback, wide open, expansive shot, right? So it's, like the whole thing, right? Like, welcome to Jurassic Park, and it shows the whole park. And I think that's kind of the stuff that truly makes us feel so epic, so big, so incredible, and larger than life. And Spielberg is so well known for being like, that childlike sense of wonder and all that stuff. So it's like dinosaurs and aliens and all this stuff. And he really puts you in it. And so you could have basically gone any direction with Spielberg and probably been fairly safe in terms of epic. So I like it. I love Jurassic Park, one of my favorite movies ever. So.
Oh yeah. Nice. Well, I'll put you up on the board then, Steve. You got back-to-back picks here.
Yeah,
where are you going?
I'm gonna kick it off with the movie that I believe still holds the record for most Oscars won ever. Give me Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. When I think epics, usually it is the end of like a trilogy. If it's part of a franchise, it's the big send-off. It's the massive payoff. It's the big battle with all the undead coming back.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like Aragorn coming back and claiming his rightful place on the throne, and Gandalf the White, like battling it out. And the hobbits all get to like Mordor and Mount Doom and throw the ring in, and Gollum diving into the lava and biting Frodo's finger. The whole thing is just amazing, right? Let me say this. This is going to sound really weird because I just picked it. I'm not a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, just in general, right? But the reason why is because my whole high school life, I used to get the flu every year at the same time, right around April vacation. And I would be sick and in bed. And every year around that time, TNT used to air the Lord of the Rings marathon. And it would play the trilogy on repeat. So I've just kind of come to associate Lord of the Rings with having the flu. So not as fun.
So now when you're sick, do you kind of crave like some Lord of the Rings in the background? Is that your comfort?
No, it's actually like when I'm sick, I want to get into the grossest, sickest horror movies I can find. Usually that's where I really tap into like that something's wrong with me.
I love it.
area.
That's awesome.
So I really go for that. But I am nothing if I'm not on brand, right? So while I love some good, classic epics, I also am a horror movie guy, as I just said. And I am just going to confirm that, yep, it does count. And I would say epic is kind of an open-ended term, as we said. I think when you change the genre for good, like forever, it just can never go back to what it was. You're pretty epic in this sense. And it's when you're dealing with really the first time that we get like true devil involvement in a movie, demonic involvement in a movie, I think that's really worth saying it's epic. So give me The Exorcist as my next pick.
Okay.
I think that is as close to a horror epic as we're going to get. And it's rare for a horror movie to kind of fall into the epic category.
Yeah, that like now that you're saying it, it fits. I follow. Like it makes so much sense. This was not on my list or even come to mind, but The Exorcist, like they pushed it further than really any film that made it as big as they did had. Right? Like what you saw, what you feel as a viewer, like you said, like the demonic, like if you don't believe in that, you watch this movie and you could leave believing that this stuff happens because of the way that the movie makes you feel.
Yeah, and it held the record for 40 years, I believe, as the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time.
Dang.
Yeah. So, I mean, this movie made a killing at a time when R-rated movies were not doing this. Like, and especially at a time where coming out and having a little girl get possessed by a demon and, being as vulgar as it was and all that stuff, it was a real bold undertaking, I thought. And so sometimes I think epics, while they're sometimes very expansive and sprawling, I think they're also very risky and risk-taking. And I think that is what makes this epic.
For sure.
This was the one genre I didn't have. Like I came in with a list of fantasy, historical, sci-fi, drama, superhero, adventure epics. I couldn't nail down horror or within that genre. I just couldn't decide on one that fit that best. This one didn't come across my plate. I think this was the way to go as far as like really nailing the horror genre for an epic. 100% agree with you on that one, Steve.
Yeah, I'm sure people in the comments, and if you disagree in the comments, let us know. Like comments are comments. I don't mind. Like yell at me all you want. I feel like this was the one that I'm gonna get yelled at the most about, and so I'm okay with that though.
I don't like this movie, and I think that's usually a good sign of a good horror movie, and I don't like it because I'm a little bitch and I get scared. So that's usually when the horror movies actually hit well. It's like, I don't want to watch that again.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm a horror movie guy. I mean, I did the review of like Evil Dead Burn, and I loved that. Like, that was awesome. Yeah, the crazier you can get, the better with me.
The Skeleton Key with Kate Hudson, I count that as a horror movie, and that's about as scary as I can get sometimes.
Yeah, no, I just, my boyfriend thinks I'm weird because like I'll throw on, like I threw on American Werewolf in London last night just because I was like, I'm bored, I'm gonna throw a movie on, and it's usually something like that.
Casually, that's what you
casually
go to.
Throw on. Like I watched The Evil Dead earlier in the day, and then I watched American Werewolf in London.
See, that makes sense. I watch scary movies during the day. Lights go down, sun goes down. No way.
Yeah, on like a Sunday, I'll like on my weekends. People are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing," and that's an active choice. Like I'm watching movies all day long. Like that's what I'm doing.
That's awesome. Nice. You got 2 picks there. I got my second one up. Ooh. I don't know where to go. Oh, man. I feel like this is a waste of a pick. You know what, Alyssa? I think you screwed up. I think you fudged up as far as getting... Like, you grabbed a space movie. That's all right. That's cool. You grabbed a Matt Damon space movie. That's all right. But you grabbed the wrong one. You grabbed the wrong one. He went to the wrong planet. You want the guy that went to the red planet. That's right. The guy who scienced the shit out of that. The Martian. And you tell me not an epic. That movie's like 4.5 hours long. I just actually rewatched this today while I was getting my stuff done in the background. This might be my favorite Matt Damon movie of all time.
Really?
You get to see him. like he has some great roles. I'm not trying to like knock down any, but like you get to see like he's vulnerable out there on the planet. You get to see humor. Like we get fun shtick. Like there's a lot to love out of this movie.
Matt Damon. I think more than I like good guy Matt Damon, and he's like a homegrown guy. He's one of mine. He's a Boston boy like me. So
like The Departed.
The Departed, love The Departed.
I like The Departed. I think I like him most in Talented Mr. Ripley, though.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a deep reach.
That's a deep reach, and like maybe it's because it's like young Jude Law as well, which is just
who doesn't love to see that?
Right. I mean, come on now. It was just he's just stunning, and yeah, like young Matt Damon also, which is fantastic. Like, yeah, but no, that's a great pick. The Martian's this fantastic movie, absolutely an epic. Anything in space is usually pretty epic.
And like I said earlier, I struggle with space movies. I struggle with alien movies. I need to have the rules kind of defined for me. I hate when they're just pulling stuff out of their ass, these fake whatevers, because we're in space and there are no rules kind of a thing. So like this one is very grounded, and I appreciate that with what they gave you.
Yeah,
and star-studded cast. Are you kidding me? This was great.
It was a star-studded cast. That also was that was a great movie. I remember seeing that in theaters and just thinking like, wow, that was like, I love leaving a theater and being like, oh. Like I just watched something. You know what I mean? Like I just watched something.
I'll get back online and we'll watch it again.
Like the lights come on and now you got to walk like outside, right? Which it's like, is it the same time of day? Is it extremely hot or extremely cold? It's so disorienting to go from a good movie to the first 10 minutes after.
The closest thing to like an acid trip you'll ever experience, watch something that transports you like that and walk outside and have it still be daytime. It's so disorienting. You're just like,
what's wrong?
What just happened? But there's movies like The Martian or some of like pretty much all these movies where you're like, someone made this. Like someone sat down and had this idea and then it came together and was this. Like that's crazy.
Which, great transition for me to go into my next pick. Oh shit, I'm on the turn this time. Okay, this makes it way easier. I was like, which one am I gonna do? So this next pick, I guess it really doesn't matter which one I go first. So I'm gonna go with the one that I think is the best. But when you talk about thinking about the writer and they create this next movie I'm picking has taken the writer years to create this universe, to create an ecosystem, a planet network, and all of that, then so we can have this story. And I hope you love blue people because Avatar is getting my second pick. I knew you were gonna be mad.
I didn't think you'd take it.
I was wondering if anyone would pick Avatar because I thought about it and I think it fell off my list. But only because I was like, I got like 5 others that I would have taken. But like, that's a strong, like, of course, that's an epic. It's the most highest grossing movie of all time.
We just watched 2 and 3 within the last week as well. So like, we've been on the Avatar kick.
Yeah.
But I remember leaving Avatar and it was that same feeling of like, okay, I need a minute. Sit down. We are not going to be the first ones leaving the theater. We're going to be the last. I just need a second to take in everything because it felt like a modern day Pocahontas.
It was blue Pocahontas.
So much more. Yes. And I really passionately felt like this story needed to be told. I'm someone that I'm like for the earth. I'm for the animals. I think that things need to be protected because they're sacred. And once they're gone, we're not going to get them back. And this movie just did such a great job about just depicting that.
Love that. I love that reasoning.
Okay.
Damn.
Second one. Oh boy. I'm feeling a little reckless. This is what happens when I'm not nervous. I'm like, I'm going to be crazy. I'm looking at my list.
And then craziness ensues.
Brian tilts and I get reckless. That's the weakness.
That's the dynamic.
All right. Okay. I don't know if you guys are going to believe that this one's epic. I'm all for opinions in the comments. If you don't think it hits, let me know. But this was another airplane movie for me. I pick all the long ones for that time because you're locked in. And again, I left this feeling like Oh, I need to talk to someone about it. And then it did take Brian about 6 months to watch it again. But I'm just gonna go straight into it. Wakanda Forever. Watching this movie without Black Panther, and you finish this movie, I felt like this might have affected me more than the original Black Panther movie, because you have to see his whole family pick up without him, right? And the whole community,
Yeah.
I'll say community, but tribe, community,
Community.
group of people,
Community
right?
seems-
They still run and function off of like their culture, their systems, like when they fight to who's going to be king. And him dying completely changed that and the way that they were to adapt. And then at the end, when you get to see that he has a son, it's like, oh, most of the Avengers movies that we get, they're about a guy in a suit, right? They're
Yep.
about destroying New York City or something that looks like New York City. This was about Wakanda. Like this was
about a girl in a
about
suit.
that world. Exactly. With some beads that can do some pretty cool shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is maybe the only movie I can ever think of that was truly almost like a eulogy to an actor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like this was absolutely like such a love letter to Chadwick Boseman and the tragedy that was losing him. Like it was so beautifully done, and it was so true to what the series, what, you know what I mean? Like what the two movies were about, and Wakanda and the resilience, but still like the emotion and the rawness that like they let the characters feel that loss, just like the actors were feeling that loss. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, that grief was literally pouring through the screen. Like I did not know Chadwick Boseman, but I was grieving watching the movie, being like, these people lost someone close to them, and you felt that realness to it. So that's great.
Yeah.
I love Wakanda Forever.
Looking at my list, I think I go for the moving movies.
Yeah,
like, I want
you
something
like
to emotionally move me, or to make me laugh my ass off.
Yeah. I mean, you got the emotion so far. So we'll see if the yucks come with it eventually. But so far, like, there's a lot of crying movies on yours. Brian, you got.
Alrighty, I've got another one that I'm gonna throw it out there. I hope it sticks, but I can understand if we have to discuss it a bit. We're going to talk about a movie that ended a franchise. And now looking at this franchise, I don't really believe any of these movies fall eligible for this one, except the very last one. Just with what I think of when I think of these epics, what it entails. I said that battle sequence. I feel like that is the seller for me, the nail in the coffin for an epic. So let's go to a magical world made by a monster. But we're going to talk about those wonderful things within the magical world. We're going to talk about the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yep. Sure.
Damn.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I can give you that. Oh, what a complicated relationship I have with that woman. Really unfortunate that she could have just kept her mouth shut and gone down as probably the most beloved author of like all time.
All time.
I'm not entirely sure that the black mold theory isn't 100% accurate, and that some sort of like parasite is eating her brain. But there is something to like, it's really tough, right? Because like I read those books with my mom when I was a kid. Like the first book I ever read really was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So it's like complicated, but yeah, like when that came out, that was an epic. I mean, and that was at the time of like still when we did midnight releases. So
I went to this one.
Yeah.
I think this might have been the last one I've gone to.
Yeah. Like I was in high school when this came out, and yeah, it was so much fun. Me and my buddies all went, and we all, were just hyped to go, and it was so much fun.
Did you wear a cape?
I did not. I was there. I think I was in my pajamas. Like it was, it was midnight. I just wanted to
It's a robe, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Oh my bad.
Yeah, I was in like PJs or sweatpants and like a t-shirt. I wish I was bold enough to like embrace the nerdiness that was inside me in high school, but yeah, no, I didn't quite have that level of fuck it in me.
My confidence yet.
Yeah,
You know what's interesting? what's interesting is like, so the first Harry Potter movie, I saw the movie before I read the book. That's what got me into the book. I saw the movie when it first came out, read the book, and from that point on, I read the books and then saw the movie, sequentially at that happened. Except Deathly Hallows 2 came out by the time I was late in high school. I quit reading for a while during high school, like you just quit reading for a while. So I didn't know how this movie ended when these movies came out. So like our first 2 years in college, these came out. We did the midnight premieres for part 1 and part 2, but it was so much fun going into the movie because I didn't know what happened. Like I had a buddy that like made a joke about, oh, Harry dies in the movie. I'm like, there's no way, but I didn't know. Technically, he was right, but like,
briefly.
Yeah. That's where he thought it was so funny, but just such an epic movie, an epic conclusion. 8 movies in the making. The way they shut this down, the things that you were kind of looking for, the big battles. You got to see the large creatures, death out the wazoo. You've got Mrs. Weasley calling her a bitch. We got some great epic stuff.
I just can't believe you saw the movie before you read the book. That just seems.
I am a huge proponent.
That is Brian.
I think that you must see the movie before you read the book. Everyone says the book is better, then why would you see the better one first? Why would you not go see something awesome, something you've never seen in front of you?
Experience it in its best form, pure and raw, and in the written, like it was so much more powerful. Like Fred
that book is
in the movie
thick.
On the radar, and then you read it, and that's
I didn't see it coming though. I didn't see it coming. It was great. So like
you barely
reading
saw it at all.
I don't know, just something about like, okay, I know what this book is going to be about, but now I'm going to get more details. Like Harry Potter 4 is a great example. That book and movie, there are nothing close to it. You watch the movie and you're like, I'm disappointed because I know what happens in the book. Whereas you watch the movie, you enjoy the movie, and then you read the books and you get more. It's like the director's cut almost coming at you. So I don't know. I'm a huge proponent for watching the movie first, but nobody ever is on my side.
No, because why are you talking to readers? And I am a avid reader.
Oh, God, English major down there.
Yeah, like I was an English major. Come on, I'm a big read the book first. Like,
oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, that's horrifying to me.
We got back-to-back picks here, Steve. You cannot take Deathly Hallows Part 2. I've got that one locked up. But who are you looking at here for these two?
I am really torn here. So I'm going to go, as I look through my list here, give me Gladiator.
Oh.
I think this is really the movie that, like, I think is Ridley Scott's. Hard to say it's his best movie because Alien exists, and I love Alien, but there's an argument to be made that this is his best movie. Joaquin Phoenix was absolutely incredible in it, and it was just, I don't know, it's still quotable to this day. It still looks great. Like, it holds up. Like, even now, 26 years later, it's still beautifully shot and acted and all that good stuff. You know what I want to know? And it's funny because I was watching American Werewolf in London yesterday, and it made me think, when did the acting style change? Where like there's a very distinct acting style that goes on in older movies that's very like big. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering when they decided to like be like, oh no, we're gonna really bring it back to like micro expressions and like get into it. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone reacted so big, like, and everything was like, just the way they spoke was very like, what do you mean that we're stuck in England without anywhere to go? Like, and it was like, that's almost how people talk, but not quite. Like, when did we transition to real
Well, it seemed like we transitioned to like actual actors. Like the 80s was full of the muscle bound, the big guys, the Schwarzeneggers, the Stallones, and then we kind of slowly transitioned out of like those being the big stars. Now all of a sudden the big stars are like, you know, like Tom Hanks was blowing up there in the 90s. You know, we were transitioning out of just like action movies into actual, you know, something a little bit more to bite into.
Yeah, but even like The Godfather, they kind of speak like people speak, but not quite, and it's very odd. I'm just curious. I'd love to know like what the line was where someone was like, "I'm going to do this differently," and like, really go for it. You know what I mean? Because like, there's a time where cameras look different, right? Like, there's that. Like, I feel like it was like Seven, the movie Seven by I think who did Seven? Not Lynch. Was it Lynch?
Yeah, I believe so.
Fincher.
Fincher, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
David Fincher did 7, and that's like the first one I can remember that was like, oh, this looks great on camera. Like, it doesn't have that grainy look to it. You know what I mean? Like, Jurassic Park probably close to that as well, but I got distracted. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about epics. This one is hard to put on a list because it's so sad, it's so depressing, and it's so heavy. But it needs to be on here because it's, as far as well-made movies, I think it's one of the best. As far as acting performances, in terms of villains, I think it's one of the greatest of all time. It's incredibly heavy, and I think it's one of Spielberg's best. Give me Schindler's List.
Oh, that was on my list.
Yeah. I remember watching it in high school for the first time. I don't know if I fully grasped it. Then I watched it again in college and remember just sitting there and being like, this is horrifying, just really haunting, right? Like, it was just really, really, really heavy. And watching Ray Fiennes, who, wonderful man, it seems, by all accounts, very good villain. I don't know what his deal is, but he is a fantastic villain all the time. Like, obviously he's Voldemort, and then he's in Schindler's List. He plays that Nazi commander. Really dark, really heavy. Like the little girl with the red jacket.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah. That scene is
so heavy. It's so sad. And when like Oscar Schindler, played by Liam Neeson, is like going over and like being like, I could have helped more, and like thinking about all the people that he didn't help, even though he helped like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so heavy. But it, in terms of like an epic, I'm like, oh my God, you captured this atrocity so well and put it in a way that so many people had to like reckon with what has happened within people's times. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't something that happened so long ago that like no one remembered it. Like when this came out in 1993, you know, we were only 50-ish years removed from this happening. Like, there were people that were 65, 70 years old being like, yeah, I was like, I remember that happening. Like, that's crazy.
I mean, there's survivors that are still alive, and that the last scene where they have the actual person and then the actor that played them dropping the rose on his grave.
That was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
That was
it's
intense.
like gave me goosebumps just thinking about right now. Like, it's such a good movie. It's not one that I recommend like rewatching.
That's the hard part with
like,
it. Yeah.
It's so hard to watch.
Yeah.
But if you're getting into filmmaking, or if you're someone who loves cinematography or anything like that, or even acting, go watch it. It's a masterpiece.
This was one I watched for the first time about 4 or 6 weeks ago, something like that, and moved. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was brilliant. I won't ever watch it again though. Like, it's just it's a time and a place, and it's an event movie. And there's tons of those. There's a lot of those movies that are actually on these lists, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see that movie eventually one day, but just like I'll throw it out right now. I haven't seen Lawrence of Arabia or Labia. Ben-Hur.
Lawrence of Arabia or Ben-Hur. Honestly, some of these you're not missing out on.
Yeah, like Deer Hunter. I've always heard so many things about that movie. I'm like, I'll see it eventually, you know. But
I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting. It was like an interesting concept. It was executed all right. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, that's not what I'm going to be drafting, because I'm up next. I got 4th round. It's coming my way. And you went dark with Schindler's List, so I think we should stay dark. Let's stay dark, but let's make sure that we have somebody to bring us out of that darkness, because it's always darkest before the dawn. And who's going to bring you out but a knight? The Dark Knight. I'm putting up my superhero movie. That's what I'm going with. You talk about an epic movie that is just... I'm going to say it stands the test of time. I will also say I don't view it in the same lens that I did 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Like, I think there is a little bit that's aged to it. I think that there was a lot of hype on just the fact that it's a Christopher Nolan movie. Heath Ledger, there's so much with that that, like, are we putting it a little bit higher up on a pedestal because of some of those other intangibles? I think so, because you can. There's moments, there's scenes, and I'm like, I can tell that we're pacing things together because maybe we didn't get everything we needed for this, but without scraping it apart. I only do that because I've seen this movie probably 24 plus times. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant way to open up a superhero movie.
Yep, I do think that my gripe with this movie in particular is that it's very much a Joker movie more than it is like
Yep.
I don't
Yeah.
think Batman any of the scenes where the Joker's not in it, I find it to be a bit boring. And I think that's a
100%.
bit of a problem. But he is so good, and when he is on screen, it's so electric. And that opening it has to be in the top 5 openings in movie history. I mean, it just puts you right in it. It was crazy. So I saw this. I was on vacation in Disney, and I made my dad take me to go see it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I'm like I said, I'm a movie guy. I
remember. I saw this one midnight premiere. I was in high school when I saw this. This was an amazing experience. Like you said, that opening scene, just I didn't know what I was fully watching because I didn't love Batman Begins initially when I first saw it. I didn't fully appreciate it.
Man.
I was coming off of we had Daredevil, maybe 2 Spider-Man movies at this point, and I loved the OG 4 Batman movies. You know what? I hate Burton, but I do like his Batmans. I do like what we got with
Tim Burton.
I'm not a Tim Burton guy at all.
I love Tim Burton.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Like that particular style, like one of my favorite movies of all time, and I'm talking like put it up against any other movie, and I'm like I'll like it just as much. Sleepy Hollow by Tim Burton. I know we're divided on Johnny. I know Johnny Depp. I know Johnny Depp is what Johnny Depp is. Like I get it.
I like Johnny Depp.
Like I just that movie holds like the specialist place in my little heart. It's just my creepy little heart loves how creepy Tim Burton gets, and I'm like, the way that movie's so gray and the blood is so red. I'm just chef's kiss, love it.
I guess it's just now kind of dawning on me too. We're literally looking at you in front of a Nightmare poster. So
Nightmare Before Christmas is tattooed on my body. That's how much I love like.
That's amazing.
Things. Yeah, like. I got my tattoos are all Halloween inspired. Like it's all just like, haunted mansion and skulls and dead things and my little Ghost Rider. Like
that's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah. Like,
you're authentic.
Yeah, it's all, I love it. And my boyfriend loves me in spite of it. So, we
What came first, the tattoos or him?
Tattoos. The tattoos came first, although more on the horizon, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, I've gotten the okay to get more.
Well, Alyssa, you've got more on the horizon. You've got 2 more on the horizon. What are those final 2 picks for you as you close out round 4 and start 5 for us?
Man, a couple of my picks got taken. So I am tilting a little bit.
That's what you get for taking Avatar from me.
I know. I can take the next Avatar. No, I'm just kidding.
Just take all 3 of them.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry. This is a movie that I had not seen until recently, watching it in preparation. It's been on my list. It came out in 2003. I was just trying to see how long is
That's why.
Does it make the cut?
Doesn't make the cut.
Oh, damn it. It's short by 9 minutes.
Is it? What is it?
Yeah. I was gonna choose Kill Bill. It doesn't fit the most epic.
I didn't feel
not gonna
Tarantino
lie.
had an epic.
You don't think?
I would say Django was an epic.
Ooh, I could get behind that, actually. I could get behind Django being an epic.
I would say Django was an epic.
Okay.
Django. Alyssa loves Django.
I love Django.
That's my airplane movie.
I was sitting there like, I'm like, do I pick Django last? And I'm like, I don't know.
That is my airplane movie.
I will donate that if it needs to be donated.
I'm not picking it. Brian chooses to watch that on the airplane, and I'm like, cool.
I don't know why.
What is the
That's
person
a
next to
wild
you
airplane
thinking?
movie.
I don't know why.
No. Okay, I'll pivot then. I have not watched this movie recently, so I'm not as refreshed on it, but I think I saw it when I was 13, and the fact that I, as a 13-year-old, liked this movie and wanted to watch again, that to me says it needs to be on the list, and that movie is Troy.
Oh, love it. Love it. Tons of hot people in that movie.
Oh man, tons of hot people. Ooh, that's probably why I like
hot people in that movie.
How
Oh my
appropriate too
God.
with the Odyssey coming out. Like this
Oh
was
my
on my
God.
list too. I thought I could get away with grabbing it with my last pick, so I'm pretty bummed here.
Whew.
It was on my radar. It was on my radar for sure. Young Colin Farrell, young Brad Pitt. Yeah, I'm there.
Oh yeah. And I just remember
Love that movie.
I'm as a like in my teenage years, like middle school, I did not care about history. I didn't want to hear about like Greek mythological. I wasn't interested in it. Seeing this movie, maybe it takes Brad Pitt to become interested, but I was like, now I want to see all of these movies.
Rose
You know,
Byrne's in this?
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was in this.
Rose Byrne is so wildly underrated, and she's so
100%.
good in everything. Like she can do anything. I will like
Love
fight
Rose
to the
Byrne.
death for Rose Byrne. I think she should get like an Oscar for just being her.
Yeah, I think she's brilliant.
Love her.
Alyssa, well, you got one more after Troy. Hell of a pick.
Wow.
I didn't have you slated to grab that one, so I'm kind of bummed.
shit. I
Tilt.
You know what? This is on the fly pick, so you can veto me if you don't think it fits. But epic, I'm thinking like time. And so I'm gonna go with Inception.
That's absolutely an epic.
Is that okay?
That's absolutely an epic.
I don't
that
know how
thing
that
was
wasn't on my
crazy.
list. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Like-
that was a crazy undertaking. That movie was wild.
That's now 3 Christopher Nolans we have.
Inception,
Yeah, Nolan does love it.
Interstellar, and Shutter's Island. Those are like 3 of my favorites that I
Yeah, that's
can
really
watch
good.
just on repeat.
That's really good. That is really good. Inception. I mean, how long did the discussion go on after that movie came out? You know what I mean? Like that top, like was
Yeah.
I think it was
Oh,
the most
yeah.
trending topic of the year. I mean,
There-
it should have just been named People magazines like Person of the Year should have been that top because it was just going and like and no one shut up about it. It was that and that stupid fucking dress. Like,
There was
I don't know if
a
it was the same year, but like they had the same level of aggravation behind it.
there was a cold open for The Office where literally they were just talking about the Inception, and just leaving
Yeah.
jokes. I still don't know what happened in Inception. And it's like, yeah, you see it pop culture everywhere. Nobody understood fully what happened in Christopher Nolan's movie.
Yeah. You know what we need to do one of these days, just because now you mentioned The Office, is a draft of like sitcoms.
Oh, yeah.
Like greatest sitcoms of all time. I think that's
Yeah, I got a
that's
pretty
what we
deep
need to
list on some of those
happen.
draft ideas
I
for
I
us.
could go deep. I could go deep on that.
Well, Alyssa, you wrapped up your look at that. You're all done.
I can breathe easy. I was sweating going into that last turn again.
Leaving it to the boys. We got 2 picks left. We're gonna finish up this draft. And look, I have hit adventure, sci-fi, fantasy, superhero. I've got one last genre, and I wanted to challenge myself a little bit to kind of go on out there. I couldn't pull it off the horror like Steve down there, but let's go animated.
No.
This is by far one of my favorite franchises of all time. Pixar does so many great ones, and I think this is where DreamWorks. I mean, they've got Shrek. Shrek is amazing. It's great. But this one surprised me at how great it is. They recently made the live action, which I couldn't get through because it was just they got it right the first time. Let's go How to Train Your Dragon. Is that an epic?
Does it qualify? Is it long enough?
Oh snap! I didn't even think about the length. Oh yikes! The new one's 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Cross
An
your
hour
fingers
and
and
33.
Ooh,
Oh,
not even
fucking
close,
epic.
man.
how do they add 30 minutes onto the live action?
I don't know. I just saw the new live action Moana while you're thinking of a new pick, and I just want to put this out there because it actually aggravates me. I feel like reviewers are lying about that movie.
Oh.
They have
Like I feel I feel like they're being really negative for no reason. Like I thought it was
Really?
fine. I thought it was good. Like honestly,
Okay.
if the original Moana didn't exist and this had come out, people would have been like, "That was really fun. That was really great." But it is kind of a shot-for-shot remake, and there are some things that aren't quite right. Like the lighting is a little weird, and the Rock's wig is pretty bad at the beginning. But like overall, it's like finally a movie that's really colorful and bright and like very pretty, and the animation is really strong. And I'm like, what we're not gonna do is like lie and pretend like the artists who worked on that movie didn't do a great job in their
Like the
art.
movie being good. Is the critique coming from it being an exact, basically, remake?
Right. You can be mad that it's a soulless cash grab all you want, right? Like that's fine.
Yeah.
Like you can be
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to see it because you're not going to get money out of me for something you just made 10 years ago. Fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Be cool.
For
But
sure.
to come out and be like, it's poorly made. No, it wasn't. It just
Mm.
wasn't. That's absolute falsehood.
And that's my issue is like these movies might be good. I just don't have like Mufasa. Sure, it's cool. It's a brand new story. The Lion King. No, I've seen it, and you're probably going to ruin some of my nostalgic memories. You know, like I think there's a way to do it.
The live action Lion King cut out Scar's song, and that made me
Yep.
so mad I wanted to leave the theater.
And there were a handful of lines that weren't delivered the way the OG actors delivered them, and that's
Yeah.
part of the quotability. It's not the actual words that are being said; it's the stylization that you're getting from the actor. And I'm like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want Zazu's cool voice. No shade to what's his dick that got that spot. Same thing with
Rogen?
Seth Rogen. He was great as Pumbaa, but there was a couple of lines he just couldn't deliver as Pumbaa because
Yeah.
it wasn't what I was looking for. So I'd be on that team. I'd hate it just because it's not it's nothing new. It's nothing. And damn it, like you said, they just came out with this movie. They came out with the second one last year.
So I said this in my review, and this is the truth, and Disney will never admit to it, but like The Rock definitely was like, hey, I really want to do this. Can we make this? And he's made them so much money that they were probably like, yeah, sure. Because
Mm.
he doesn't have much more time where he could play Maui. Like he's going to
No.
get old.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was kind of like now or never. So
And I
I'm
get
sure
that.
They just did it because they based Maui on his grandfather, and like it was a whole thing. So
Which I get that, but I'm like, y'all are literally just willing to sink $250 million just to appease The Rock, who already has the rumors that he's kind of a pain in the ass with, like, he won't take a villain role and shit like that.
yeah, I saw it, I enjoyed it, I had fun. I thought he was great in it. I thought it was nice.
Did they have the Shiny song in it?
Yeah,
It's
they had
shot-
everything. It was like
Oh, good.
exactly like Moana. Like it was
Okay.
literally like shot for shot. No songs got cut. It was very pretty. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, like you ever see like a Broadway production and then you see like an off-Broadway production and it's like really good but not quite as good.
Mhm.
It's like that.
Okay.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to slide over to another category because my other animated movie doesn't fall into the 2-hour mark, unfortunately. So I'm going to slide over to historical. 2 of the 3 movies have been taken in Gladiator and Troy, so I'm going to take the last one left. I'm going to take a guy, limelight for about 10 years, some solid movies, and then he just kind of fizzled out there. But Gerard Butler, let's bring his ripped ass in here with not 1, not 2, but 300.
Nice.
Yeah, this was a big thing when I was in high school. This came out, was it my freshman year? It came out. Yeah, it came out my freshman year in 06. All of the guys, my dad was like, "Hey, Brian, you want to go see this movie? You want to go see the movie? I'll take your friends to go see this movie." Like, Dad, do you want to go see it? He goes, "Yeah, I want to go see this movie." It just, the manly man, the war.
Do you come from movie people? Like, are your parents movie people, both of you?
My dad is. My mom has 5 movies that she watches on repeat.
Okay.
Mine are not. No.
My parents are not movie people at all. Like, I'm like, you guys want to go see a movie? Like, I dragged my dad to the only movies he's been to in the last 30 years. And I've taken him to like 5 movies. But like, and I forced him to come. I think I took him to Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, The Dark Knight, the live action Aladdin, Wicked,
Nice.
and that's it. So 4. Yeah.
My dad was pretty good as far as like making sure that I was seeing a lot of movies and a lot of older movies too, like a lot of 90s, a lot of 80s. Like we had John Cusack month one time. So like we had Netflix, we rented the movies, they'd send them in and we watched every John Cusack movie for like a month. So I do appreciate being able to kind of dive into a lot of those movies I wouldn't have picked normally as a kid.
Yeah, no, I that was like music in my house. Like my parents were like, my dad was a big music guy. So, but like my dad, for being maybe the straightest man I've ever known, is so gay. It's not even funny that like he loved Cher and Barry Manilow. So I grew up like on Cher and Barry Manilow, which is like the gayest thing you could do. Like if someone was like, what's the gay agenda? I'd be like, it's having your son listen to Cher and Barry Manilow. Growing up, like I used to wake up to Just Like Jesse James, the song by
Oh my gosh.
Cher. And so like I love Cher, don't get me wrong. So
That's
I'm like
awesome.
all in. But yeah, so that's how I grew up. But yeah, never movies. It was never a movie household.
I gotcha. Yeah, my mom was just like 2 movies and that's all it was for a bit.
Yeah.
Well, what's
Were
that
your
last
parents movie
pick?
people?
You said what?
I was asking if Alyssa's parents were movie people because
My parents are split. So like my dad and I would go see movies. That was kind of our thing. Like on Sundays, last day of the weekend, we'd go to see a movie and then it's like go back to mom's house. But they're more music people for sure.
That's actually really sweet though. I'm so jealous of you guys, like being movie people together. My boyfriend is not a movie person. He'll lie and say he is, he's not. He never watches movies with me. He's on his iPad watching like streamers and stuff like that, which is fine because I don't get that either. Like he doesn't totally get why I love movies, and I don't get why he loves like watching people play video games. But I'm glad that he's. It just makes me happy when he's happy. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But I do drag him to some. He does blame me a little bit because I'm like, come to the movies with me. He's like, every time we go, it's some disgusting, awful horror movie. That's like the worst horror movie. He's like, you go to the worst movies. I'm like, I go to all movies. He's like, that's the problem. You're not supposed to go to every movie. So I'm like, yeah, maybe. So I originally wanted to do Alien here. Problem is, Alien is an hour and 57 minutes long.
Ooh, you need that director's cut.
Yeah. So I'm going to pivot here. And I said earlier that I usually go, when I think of an epic, I think of the last of a trilogy. But there is a trilogy that I do think the second movie is probably the best movie. Give me Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back.
Solid.
Yeah. I think that was.
Ooh, that needed to be on this.
Yeah. I think that's when Star Wars was at its peak, absolute peak, height of Star Wars. So I am absolutely stoked to have that going on.
Well, damn, we made it through it. 5 rounds each. They're in the books. Alyssa, what is that final team you have rocking there?
I've got Interstellar, Avatar, Wakanda Forever, Troy, Inception. And I'm feeling pretty good about this list. This sounds like a great Saturday. Like if you were to stack these up, well, definitely a full day Saturday because they're all 2+ hours couch rotting. But I mean, this sets you up for like your mind to be blown completely.
Yeah.
So I might say 2 epic.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah, probably not. I'm rocking Jurassic Park, The Martian, Deathly Hallows Part 2, The Dark Knight, and 300. I like it. I feel good. This is very me coded.
I like that.
Feels like very, very just college. It
Yours
feels very
is
college
so high energy. Like outside of The Martian, yours is really high energy. Like really, lots happening.
Yeah, not as like intense, but like exciting. And
honestly, it was either The Martian or Rogue One was my 2 sci-fis I was looking at. So had I picked Rogue One, I would have been pedal to the metal for all 5 of these.
Yeah. I'm looking at mine, and I almost went with Project Hail Mary instead of Empire. I really loved that, and I was just like, is that recency bias? And now I'm looking at my list, and the most recent movie I have on here is Return of the King from 2004.
You did go significantly older than I'm just kind of putting that together.
Yeah,
well, after our summertime draft, I was the only one that did an old movie on that one, so I was like, okay, maybe I'm digging too deep, but I forget. Okay, we got movie heads here.
You know what though? I'm proud of myself because I like every now and then I like to show that I'm more than just more than just even my life. Yes, that's right. Thank you. And I can go outside my lifetime. I went outside my lifetime. Depends on Schindler's List's release date, but potentially 3 times with The Exorcist, Empire, and Schindler's List. Anyone got a release date for Schindler's List?
93.
Right,
but I think it was November.
Was it?
Pause, please.
Like, I want to know.
December 15.
So Christmas movie. Everybody wants to go see this for Christmas.
I'm slightly older than Schindler's List. Yeah.
I like your list. I feel like it hits the not just epics, but also like kind of icons. Like to have Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, you can't just have one. They're not the same.
Well, and then you also have a Steven Spielberg. You've got a Ridley Scott on here. Like, it's big appeal. And then, of course, like you said, The Exorcist, iconic in what it was, brought him to the R-rated horror genre.
I like the directors I got because I got Ridley Scott, I got Spielberg, I got William Friedkin, I got Peter Jackson, and then the Star Wars guy, that George Lucas. So I'm actually pretty happy with it. overall, I feel like I like my directors. James Cameron is a great choice as well. Alyssa just went powerhouse, right? Nolan, and then
I didn't even mean
yeah,
to. That's
Cameron.
just my taste. I just must have really great taste.
Yeah, and then Ryan Coogler. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't.
Nice
I don't
little
know. If
mix-up.
I don't know if there's a better director alive today than Coogler right now.
I was gonna say what I got Spielberg, Ridley Scott, we got Christopher Nolan, and then Zack Snyder with 300. Deathly Hallows. I don't know who the hell did that.
Columbus did, I think.
Oh,
Can I ask, would Sinners have counted as an epic, or do we think that's too self-contained?
Ooh. Looking at this list, like which movie would you pull off to put that one on? Even if it wasn't just your list.
I'd pull Deathly Hallows. Of all the movies on here, that's the one I would bump first, is Deathly Hallows. If you had to bump one off, yeah, let's do that. If each of you had to bump one, who gets
off
kicked?
of anybody's?
Off of anybody's list.
Schindler's List. It's the only one that it's not rewatchable to me. The rest of them are rewatchable.
Not a rewatchable movie. Mine looks like something that my list looks like something a film student would make you watch.
Yeah.
It's like a little like ugh. You know what I mean?
We got the bookends here. We're gonna watch them because everybody says we have to watch them, and then everything in the middle is like, all right, we're actually gonna sit here and absorb what we're watching.
Yeah. I think I'd go Deathly Hallows would be my first bump, and then Empire would be my second bump.
I think I would go. I think I'd go Gladiator. Gladiator 300.
Yeah.
They're just not hot enough.
That tracks for you.
They're not.
Yeah.
That is such a fair point. Like if Russell Crowe, who looked good in Gladiator, was replaced with someone who was just dummy hot instead, I think that movie makes $1 billion. Like,
And Gerard Butler, like, don't get me wrong, he totally had his like decade, but I don't know. There's other raspy, tough guys that have other things to offer.
Russell Crowe, especially, is he's so sweaty, and he's not sweaty in the way that he looks like dewy and shiny. He just looks like soaked. Like
ooh, you need to keep a rag with you.
Like a Craig Robinson.
Out, like it was like summer when they were filming, and the costume was too heavy, and he was just drenched in like sweat, and it just looked like the makeup department couldn't keep up. Just like halfway through the movie, like fuck it, he just looks how he looks. He looks dirty.
He's throwing a fit. We're running out of time.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know, it's whatever. And then Joaquin Phoenix looks like he didn't sleep the entire movie, and so he just has like dark bags under his eyes the whole time. But yeah, it's not a very sexy cast. Not that The Exorcist was really rolling in sexy people, but it wasn't supposed to.
Right.
That wasn't the point.
Yeah, that wasn't really the point.
Oh, man. Well, that will wrap up our Epics draft. Before we get out of here, Alyssa, Steve, either one of y'all have any parting words for our viewers?
Thanks for staying with us. Like the way that I feel now from the beginning, I was really nervous, and I think we pulled this out like amazingly. So if you have stayed here to this point, thank you. Like, subscribe. We will be back with more great tastes and opinions.
Yeah, and please subscribe, to the channel, because we have so much going on, and the three of us are going to be hanging out again very soon, because we're doing our breakdowns of episode 1 and 2 of Apple TV's Lucky, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, and we'll be coming to you every week breaking it down. So make sure you stick around for that.
That's right. Stick tuned to all of the greatness that we'll be bringing to you here on IBT Media, whether it be here on Popcorn and Root Beer or on In Between the Screens. We have all the greatness. It's great. You know, like, subscribe, leave us comments. Let us know what we missed. Let us know what needed to be added. Tell us how Alyssa messed up her draft by stealing the picks that I should have had. But it's all here on and In Between the Screens, IBT Media. Check us out on the socials. Find us all out there. But until next time. We're getting out of here.
Great exit song.